It is just a bad situation in Puerto Rico. Less than 10% of the island has power, and just a little more than half folks there have access to drinking water. And despite the efforts, aid is still slow to arrive. San Antonio's Puerto Rican community working around the clock to do what they can to help.
A familiar face and former Mayor Henry Cisneros is helping that aid get where it needs to go, and he's joining us this morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
So you've been playing a big role here, trying to raise as much money as possible to help those folks desperate there.
We have a good-sized Puerto Rican community in San Antonio, and they asked for help. And I was watching the video, and President Clinton, when I was HUD Secretary, asked me to spearhead the response to Hurricane Andrew in Florida. And then a year later, we had the response to the earthquake in Los Angeles, the Northridge earthquake. So I've seen what major disasters are. This one, it seemed to me, from watching the footage, is a monster disaster. And I predict that we're going to see more people die yet. People who are old, people who are sick, people who can't get water, people whose electrical systems are not working. I mean, our society isn't built, modern society isn't built to function without those basics.
And how did you get involved, how did you get involved with this effort specifically?
Just decided that, you know, when I really sort of put my mind to it and figured, well, what can we do? I think the most direct thing we can do is team up with a group there that's trustworthy and get some funds to them. Not just supplies, because they're hard to get there, but funds that are needed. The ATM systems are down. People have difficulty even buying solar panels that they substitute for batteries, that sort of thing. So what we're doing is putting an event together where people can see for themselves. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock at the UT downtown campus, UTSA, we're having a forum where reports are being made from people who've been on the scene or who can report what's actually occurred. And then we're persuading people to try to be generous. And just yesterday, Belden Roofing called, for example, and said, we're responding to your initiative with a $5,000 donation. So our goal is to send as much as we can, just because people are suffering. That's purely it.
Are you a little concerned about disaster donation overload from folks?
No.
Hurricane Harvey and Irma, and it's just been one thing after another after another.
It has, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop. There's another hurricane coming in, Nate, this weekend in the Gulf Coast. No, I think people understand the reality. This is a monster disaster. Massive numbers of people are hurt. They are American citizens. This is an American territory. And so, no, I'm not worried that people feel an overload. As a matter of fact, my sense was San Antonians were asking, how can I help? They've been touched by this, and they want to know how to help. This is a vehicle to help, and as I say, we focused on a trustworthy reception point. Respect some of the most respected leaders in Puerto Rico, business leaders, who will see to it that the aid gets where we want it. Our priorities are medical supplies to the most remote areas that are not in the San Juan metro and therefore receiving aid now.
I want to, let's try to take politics out of it for a moment. What do you think of the administration's response to Puerto Rico?
Well, I think on the ground, all is being done that can be done. That's my sense. Having been part of the federal response before, we have a good system. Puerto Rico is difficult because it is an island, it's distant, and the scale is so massive. But I think the American response will be there. In any event, in this digital age, it's not necessary to wait just on what the government does, and it's possible to go around some of those obstacles. People to people, direct assistance, and that's what San Antonians can do through this. Just yesterday I learned Houston sent a 777 jet, a jumbo jet, full of medical supplies, with Houston civic leaders going down and taking it and coming back. So our sister cities around Texas are responding just like we are.
Which is incredible considering what Houston just went through and what they're having to deal with, and now they're helping. I understand you also have a website where people can actually learn, you know, what to give and how to help out.
We do, and I think your folks are going to put it up, but it's www.sanantonio4,
Excellent. And we'll have more of that too on the web.
www.sanantonio4puertorico.com.
All right, former Mayor and HUD Secretary Henry Cisneros, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
you. You've covered this thing so well, and this is the community's response. The mayor will be there tomorrow, the congressman, other public officials urging people to be generous.
And again, it's at 10 a.m. at UTSA campus.
Downtown.
Downtown, yes. Okay.